everybody. I'm Andrea Miller, and I'm a registered dietitian here at Community Hospitals and Wellness Centers in Bryan. And I'd like to welcome our live audience and viewers at home to Live It Fresco. And today I have a very special guest with me. I have Eric Herman. So Eric has been a part of Live It actually since day one. So the reason why I wanted to invite Eric to be our sous chef today is because this is actually the first episode of season 4. So we've been doing Live It now for 3 years, and we couldn't have done Live It without Eric and the rest of the crew at BMU, Bryan Municipal Utilities. So Eric has been filming, and also want to give a shout out to Chris Bryce. He's been a part of it for since day one as well, and Edna. Can't see her, but she's just started as a part of the show, so we couldn't do it without you guys. So we want to thank you for making this possible.
It's been fun. I can't believe we've been 3 years already with it, starting year 4. It's gone fast.
It has gone fast. So
and lots of good recipes out of it.
Yep, great recipes and more coming.
Yes.
So we hope to continue for as long as possible. So Eric, tell us a little bit, so you're a big part of Live It, but what else do you do at BMU?
So my official title is Local Programming and Production Lead, which I oversee all of our video production work between Live It, our baseball games, all of our meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
KB takes care of a lot of that stuff now, and I have moved in the administrative role up front with all of our community education, customer education, and do all of our social media, webpage, and stuff out of the utility office. So.
But you still make time for Live It, right?
I make time for Live It. When food is involved, I am involved.
Yeah. And actually, another reason we asked you to be a part of this, you had a cooking show on BMU prior to Live It that you were actually a sous chef on as well.
We were about 05, we started a cooking show with one of the church groups in town that was, they did get-togethers, and theirs was all appetizers, so we called that the Ultimate Appetizers. Okay. And yeah, I cooked jalapeno poppers.
Yeah,
on
so
that
you
one.
sent me
that
video, and I thought that we needed a repeat of
and we're
that,
cooking with jalapenos again today.
We are cooking with a jalapeno again today. So, and actually, so our first episode 3 years ago was Live It Cinco de Mayo. So we're bringing back some themes with that today with Live It Fresco, which is fresh in Spanish, and we're doing some very fresh and delicious fish tacos, which they're amazing.
Yes.
So Eric, I have to ask you something. You've had fish tacos before.
I love fish tacos. I love fresh fish. Yep.
Where were you when you had your best fish taco?
The best fish taco would have been my wife and I last year went down to Playa del Carmen in Mexico, and we had fresh caught fish that day that they prepared in fish tacos, and we sat on the beach.
That sounds amazing.
And had fresh squeezed adult beverages with it. So I don't see that
and
here
today,
but yeah.
Between your toes and
the
listening
water,
to the waves and
Yep.
So my favorite fish taco would have been in San Diego at a little beach shack. Again, sound of the waves, sand between my toes, probably an adult beverage.
It's always the little places that have the best food.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I love about food is it can take you back to those moments. You know, you might not have all the perks, but you can still have a little bit of that flavor at home.
All the memories,
And the memories. It brings back those memories of those special moments. So let's get started on our fish tacos. Something special we're going to do today, we're actually going to make our own corn tortillas. So I'm excited about that today as well. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to marinate our fish, which I have some mahi-mahi here. Has anybody in the room ever had mahi-mahi? Couple people. Yeah, so it's not a fish. I wanted to introduce a fish that we haven't used before, because we've done salmon, we've done cod, and I mean that's pretty much all anybody eats in Northwest Ohio, salmon, cod, tuna. But there are a lot of fish in the sea. No pun intended.
Yeah, yes.
So we have mahi-mahi, popular in Hawaii. I believe the term mahi-mahi actually means strong, or mahi means strong in Hawaiian, I believe. That's what the internet told me this morning anyway. So, and actually my brother was a commercial fisherman, and he used to fish for mahi-mahi, not commercial, charter fisherman. And he used to fish for mahi-mahi, and they do put up a pretty hefty fight in the ocean. So, so mahi-mahi, it's a white fish. It's pretty firm. Actually, I'm not going to add that yet. We're going to put our seasoning in. So we're going to put I'm going to have you hold the bag for me. we're going to put a tablespoon of olive oil. And you can use a zip top bag for this, or you can use like a reusable container. Like I like to use a big Tupperware container that I can wash and reuse. And then we're going to do some lime juice. And we need about 2 tablespoons of lime juice. Well,
ooh, that's a tough one.
So remember the episode last month? This knife needs sharpening. There we go. Anyway, so we're going to squeeze about 2 tablespoons of lime juice in there. We're just going to kind of eyeball it.
It'll make your hands smell good the rest of the day.
Absolutely. I love fresh lime, and any fresh citrus, just squeezing it. I like to, after I'm done squeezing these, I like to put them in a cup of water, and then I'll drink that water, and it kind of infuses that lime flavor. Let's do just a tiny bit more.
And if you throw a chunk in your garbage disposal, it'll make your garbage disposal smell good.
Absolutely. Lots of use for citrus. So that looks like about enough. And then we're going to put some taco seasoning in. And we're actually, so this is from episode 1. This is our salt-free taco seasoning. And we're doing about 3 tablespoons of that. And then since it is salt-free, we are going to add a pinch of salt. But you can skip this if you, oh, that's pepper. I think our salt's actually down there. Make sure we have enough for our tortillas. Just a tiny bit of salt to give it some flavor. And now we'll shake it up a little bit. Make sure everything's all mixed together. And slide our fish in. Then we'll seal it up and just make sure everything's coated. And then it has to marinate for about 20 to 30 minutes before grilling it. Mahi-mahi is personally one of my favorite types of fish. Like I said, it's white, very mild, and it's very it's very firm and kind of dry, so it's almost reminiscent of chicken.
Yeah,
kinda.
there's not a lot of extra fat in it.
Yeah, very lean. So I love mahi-mahi. So we'll let that set for a while. And then we're going to start on our other components of the fish tacos. A lot of components to these fish tacos, a lot of steps, but it's well worth it. So no fish taco is complete, in my opinion, without a good slaw cabbage. It needs cabbage on a good fish taco. Mm-hmm. So lettuce just won't cut it, in my opinion, because there's not enough crunch. So I have 2 cups of cabbage. And then Eric's going to help us with this. So he had a great idea coming in. Instead of using red onion, we're going to use scallion today. I just personally like scallions a little bit better raw because I'm not a huge fan of that, bite of the onion. So Eric said he has a way to chop.
I learned this the other day, actually, on a fish recipe that I got. You actually ribbon cut it lengthways across it. So I just went in half. And then it kind of falls apart, and then these knives do need sharpened. And then it just kind of makes more slaw almost that way too, and you get more of a bite in every bite, I guess, that way.
Yeah.
And it looks cool laying on top of it.
It does look cool, and since we're doing a slaw and fish, it would be, I've seen some Asian recipes that kind of use a ribbon cut. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. So we need about a 1/4 cup of onions in there, so I'll have you add those in. Maybe. And then I'm going to add some cilantro. So we need about a 1/4 cup of cilantro. Hang on, I'm getting my 2 cilantro recipes confused. So, yeah, about a 1/4 cup. And I love cilantro, and well, pretty much with any taco, but especially with a fish taco, it just really gives it a nice flavor. So I'm going to start giving that a rough chop. taking out some of the tough stems. Right. And you don't really have to be exact with the measurements here, just, kind of eyeball it. And you can use more or less if you like specific ingredients. Like if you like a lot of cilantro, go ahead and use a little bit more. Those look awesome.
This knife is not liking the slice.
It's okay, mine's not either. Looks great. So I'm going to go ahead and add the cilantro in. Looks good.
Enough, 1/4 cup-ish.
And then we need a little bit more olive oil. I'm going to use another tablespoon. You can really use any oil in this. It doesn't really matter. I like to use olive oil particularly for stuff that I'm not cooking, not heating. So, and you can just squeeze some more lime juice right in there. So about another 1.5 tablespoons of lime juice. So a really simple, simple slaw. Not a whole lot of ingredients here. No mayo in the slaw. We're going to get some sauce in here in another way. And there's a lot of ways that you could do this. Like there's a lot of different types of slaw that would go really well in a fish taco. Do you remember that specific fish taco you had?
This one was a pickled slaw with it, and it had the red onion, but lots of cilantro, and I've had it with mango. Okay. Mango salsa with it.
Yeah, the tropical fruits like a pineapple salsa or like a mango salsa would all go really well with a fish taco. And these limes are cooperating. They are very juicy. So that's good. Okay. So then we're just going to do a little bit of salt and pepper in here because there's really not much else to flavor it. And give it a quick stir. And the lime juice will kind of marinate the cabbage a little bit. And the onions, and it'll all come together as it sits a few minutes while we work on our other ingredients. I'll have you keep stirring that a tiny bit. And we'll get started on our sauce. So the sauce we're doing is a cilantro lime sauce, and it's just amazing with these fish tacos. So to lighten it up a little bit, we're using a 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt. Three tablespoons of mayo. Some more cilantro, which this one you don't have to chop because we're going to put it right in the food processor. Just grab some cilantro leaves and toss them all in. I believe it said a 1/2 cup, but we might not even have quite that much, so good enough. We use what we can. And then we're going to put some jalapeno in it as well for a nice little kick. But I will tell you that I went to make this recipe at home, and I had everything, I was making it, and I looked at my recipe and I was like, oh no, it calls for a jalapeno and I don't have one. So last minute I was like, well, what else do I throw in there to kind of add some flavor? And I had nothing similar to a jalapeno. So I actually took a scallion and I put a scallion in it, and it gave it some onion flavor. And then if I put some crushed red pepper in it to give it a little bit of heat, and it actually worked pretty well. So I thought it was good. So different options you could do there if you don't like the spice from a jalapeno. So the jalapeno. So Eric, quiz time. what is the spiciest part of the jalapeno?
The white ribs.
There you go. See, he knows
Not
his
as much
food.
as the thing.
Yeah,
the
so
seeds.
a lot of people think it's the seeds that is the spicy part of the jalapeno, and it's not. It's more like the membrane in it. So I'm actually going to cut it in half. Do you like a lot of spice or a little bit of spice?
I would just put the whole thing in there.
You would put
we
seeds
like
and
the
all?
spice. Yep.
So you put seeds and all?
If we're mixing it up like that, yeah, it'll blend down. Makes it easy.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't have to get all that
And
capsaicin all
now
over
you're
my
not
hands.
now you don't have to worry about rubbing your eyes later.
That's right. That's right. So it'll be nice and spicy. We're going to use some more lime juice in that. So we need 3 tablespoons of lime juice here. And I have some backup too. I have some bottled lime juice as well, but I'd like to try to so again, this is Live It Fresco, so that fresh lime juice is really going to give it a lot of flavor. That the bottled lime juice is fine, but the fresh lime juice gives a little something else.
A whole lot more flavor.
Yeah. Okay, and we actually need some lime zest in there as well. So I have my zester, which hopefully this does a good job. And it said about a teaspoon of lime zest, but however much you get in there. Oops, and it's coming out the sides. So again, the lime zest is going to give it just that a little more punch of lime. And we'll call that good enough for now. I'm going to cut this guy open and squeeze a little bit more lime in there. That was a good one. This is a nice juicy
That's
lime.
a very juicy lime.
So you cook quite a bit at home, right, Eric?
We cook a lot at home. I do a lot of the cooking. But a lot of times my wife and I, we cook together because we both like cooking too, so.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's good to spend time together in the kitchen.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite things to make at home?
We've been on stir fries a lot recently.
Okay.
And actually we did from season 1 or 2, the deconstructed egg roll
Yeah,
the other day.
that egg roll in a bowl is a
Yes.
really popular
It's an easy,
recipe.
quick one to go through. And we've actually take the wonton strips you can buy at the store and we
Okay.
mix those in with it and
Nice.
give it a little bit of
I don't know
crunch
that
too.
I've met anybody that doesn't like that recipe.
It's a popular, yeah. I think it was one of our more popular watched episodes.
Yeah.
A lot of people went back to it. But
Seems
yeah.
like everyone I tell that give that recipe to loves it. So I'm sprinkling a little bit of pepper in there, and then a tiny bit more salt. Steal your salt back.
Yep. We cook a lot of chicken, grill a lot.
I saw you at the beginning of the week, and you said you were doing meal prep. You did meal prep
We were
Sunday
meal
night.
prepping Sunday night. We try to do for lunches a meal prep, and we're both track coaches. So I'm not a running coach. I do
didn't
the
know
throwing, but so we have a lot of busy nights and busy weekends. So we try to prep and
Yep.
at least have something more than running through a fast food restaurant on
Yeah.
the way after track. 'Cause
It's really important.
kind of opposite. You go to track and then go through fast food, but we try to. That way we're home and at 7 o'clock. By the time the kids are in bed at 8, it's nice to have something in the fridge ready to go.
Right.
Come home, heat it up, and go. So,
Right.
Yeah.
And it keeps you on track with staying healthy.
Yeah.
So we're going to give this a whirl. I have a bowl down here that we can put it in. Make sure it's nice and blended. Put quite a bit of lime. Oops. Jalapeno is still in
Jalapenos
there.
didn't quite go.
We'll keep it going for a second. We'll just turn it on and let it go. some of this cleared out of the way.
This is something I always want in my kitchen. Just
I know,
throw
just
stuff
throw
underneath.
everything underneath and like magic elves come in and clean it up. All right.
Yes, you think on my crew, you have quite the crew behind the scenes for your pre-production stuff too.
We do. We have, well, Tara Spisak, our other dietitian, she actually encouraged me to do these tortillas today. I was like, no, we're not going to make tortillas. And she's like, you should do it. And okay. So we have Jeanette Roberts, Jessica Reitzel, Jan Martinez, and we can't forget our amazing catering department that makes all of our samples for our audience to sample. They also get all of this together for me. I just give them a list and tell them what I need, and they do all the shopping.
And there's quite a prep behind it. You guys are about a month ahead. You start the pre-production side of it. So
and actually, Angie, our caterer, this sauce was her idea. She, said, you really need to do this sauce with.
She always makes the awesome presentation stuff.
Yeah, she does. So everybody involved, and we can't forget Jess Hesgard. She does all of our publicity and takes care of putting everything on Facebook and
our backdrop.
This stressed her out. Apparently, it wasn't printing well today, so she makes our signs, and there's just a whole crew involved in putting all of this together. And without any one of them,
we wouldn't be on season 4.
We wouldn't be on season 4. So yeah. All right. So here is our dressing. All right, let's do these tortillas.
Right.
So this is incredibly easy. So put all of our components over here. I'm going to get started. So while Eric's doing that, I'm going to get our pan heated up to cook our fish. All right, so we have masa harina, which is corn flour. And the corn is a traditional preparation of a flour, a corn flour. The corn is soaked in lime, and then it's dried and ground. So it's pretty much just corn soaked in lime. And I believe we're using Bob's Red Mill brand, and this recipe was right on the back of the bag. There's 3 ingredients. There's the corn flour, the masa harina, there's a little bit of salt, and there's water. And that's it. So imagine my surprise when I figured out I could make tortillas like this and avoid the ultra-processed corn tortillas that I buy in a bag. And when you look at the package of the corn tortillas you buy at the store, there's like 100 ingredients. And I was like, wait a second. All I need is flour, the corn flour, salt, and water to make a tortilla. So just one way to cut down on the processed foods that I eat every day to make them fresh. So I'll just have you dump, we need about a 1/4 teaspoon. You can measure, I suppose you could find the 1/4 teaspoon. Make sure we have about a 1/4. Looks good.
Perfect.
And we'll just stir that together. We have some hot water over there, so you need hot water for this. And the amount, this is the recipe that everybody's, grandma makes, and maybe not this recipe in particular, but I think everybody's grandma has a recipe that they don't actually have a recipe for, where it's just like a pinch of that, a pinch of this, and
when I talked to one lady at work, she said her mom, she tried to get it, and it was by the knuckles. She poured it in her hand, and that knuckle was for this, and this knuckle's for that.
Yeah.
That was how
so
she knew it.
The water is kind of a range. It said 1.5 cups to 2 cups. So we'll start with 1.5 cups.
All right.
And we'll pour that in there and give it a stir. And while you're doing that, I'm going to get some olive oil in the grill to start cooking our fish. And that is a very hot grill. We're steaming.
This will be the day that we set up the fire alarm that I'm here.
We've made it. Well, the heat is off. Yeah.
I may not make it in the sous chef club if we set it off.
We'll just let that go for a second.
This would have been the day to go outside to the, well, it's
Yeah.
not nice though. That was our very first episode that we did the outside one? Or was that one?
That was
Couple
in
into it.
July. Yeah.
110 degrees and we
Okay,
cooked
well,
outside.
The smoke is, should we open the doors? Open the windows? There's nothing in the pan, just oil. The heat's off. So, all right, I think it's not smoking anymore,
All
so.
right.
Good. So that looks good.
But yeah.
So this is, I don't think I would add any more water to
No,
that.
seems
I think
good.
that's good. So that, you want it to be like a little bit springy, not too dry and not too
Forms a nice
sticky
ball.
either. So this you kind of have to let it set for about an hour. So who wants to stay around for an hour? So we're gonna give it an hour to rest, but we have some dough already made up that we can show you how to cook on. All right, so that's good now. So we're gonna go ahead and add our fish. So Eric, I'll have you add the fish in there. And we're just gonna pretend it didn't smoke.
Yeah. Just delete it.
And I'm gonna start rolling out our dough. So I have some dough here that's been pre-made and had its time to rest. So you just need a really small ball, about maybe a little bit bigger than a golf ball. It's a little bigger than a golf ball, I would say. But the 2 cups of flour with the water and all should make about 12 tortillas. So divided into 12 to 16 different balls. So then, I'm hesitant to start preheating this, but so then you take your little ball and you put it on a sheet of wax paper and flatten it down. Take another sheet of wax paper. I think I'm going to heat this up a little bit. And just start rolling out your tortilla. And try to make it as close to a circle as you can. But the fun part of this is if it's not a perfect circle, that's okay because it looks homemade and it kind of adds to the whimsical effect. And you want it pretty thin. So to this skillet, we're not adding any oil. You want a dry skillet to cook the tortillas. You want it pretty hot. So then what I'm going to do is peel off the top piece of paper. And then what I like to do, instead of peeling off the bottom one, I like to kind of just drop it. There it goes. Drop it into the pan. And you just cook it for about a minute on each side. So the fish we just have in a skillet, so you can do this outdoors, but if you're doing it outdoors, you probably want like a grill basket for your fish because fish does tend to flake. So if you try to flip it on your grill, you have little pieces of fish going into the coals. So, but on an indoor grill, you don't necessarily need anything but a little bit of oil in your pan. I did spray my grill pan, my outdoor grill pan, with a little bit of cooking spray to prevent sticking as well. So, right. So we flip that over.
Cooks pretty quick.
Yeah, they definitely cook really quick. So about a minute on each side. So they look done. I'm actually going to flip that back over. We're going to put them right on our plate. Right. Is that fish ready to flip yet, or is it? Oh, that looks good. And I'm going to do one more tortilla here. Sticking?
Yeah, just a little bit on that one.
Perfect. That looks awesome. Eric is a pro.
Some days I luck out. Today is a lucky day.
Okay. So I'm going to roll another tortilla ball. So I know you're thinking, man, there's no way I'm making tortillas on a busy night. So something that I found really helpful so I can always have fresh tortillas, I've actually found that these can freeze really well. So what I do, and I do this for a lot of different things, I'll kind of flash freeze them. I'll put them in a single layer on a baking sheet, pop them in the freezer, and then after an hour or so when they're frozen, I'll transfer them to a zip top bag. And then I'll reheat them in the microwave between 2 paper towels. Right. So we're ready to cook our next tortilla here. And actually, they're coming off the wax paper pretty easily here, so I'm just going to put that on. So the question, how do you know when fish is done? Generally, when it starts to flake a little bit with a fork, it's all done.
Then one will get done a lot quicker.
Yeah, so we have like one like thick slab and one real thin slab. So actually, whatever is that one flaking a little bit?
Yep.
So we're actually just going to put it into a bowl, and we're going to break it up a little bit. There we go.
Just need the tongue.
Got some clean ones. So the fish taco, you're supposed to kind of break it up a little. So you have little pieces, and then you put those inside your tortilla. And you don't want, too much in your tortillas. You don't want to overstuff them. Our other tortillas done. So as you can see, they cook so quickly. It's really, again, it's really not difficult to make them, and there's so few ingredients. I don't know that I will ever buy store-bought tortillas again. And they taste so much better. It just has a really fresh taste. So we have our fish on our tortillas. I'm going to spoon a little bit of the slaw on top. A little bit of our dressing on top as well. And that is it. Fish tacos.
Yummy.
All from scratch. All fresco, right? So, well, thank you so much, Eric, for coming on the other side of the camera today.
I've had fun.
I've had fun as well, all 3 years, and again, hopefully everyone in our audience and our viewers at home will continue to join us as we continue to move forward with Live It.
Yes.
So, and go make fish tacos.